Okay, let's do a problem here with non-perpendicular vectors. And here. So we have two guys pulling on a mule, one at 120 newtons, 60 degrees from the positive x-axis, and one 80 newtons, 75 degrees from the negative x-axis. And so we have two different vectors here, and what we're going to do is we're going to start out and be sure we have an xy table. So I'll make an xy table, and we have two vectors, and then we're going to have a resulting vector down here. And this will be my 120 Newton vector. This will be my 80 Newton vector. And this will be my resulting. I'm not going to be able to fit anything else there. So that's my resulting vector. So what we're going to do here is we're going to divide each vector into x and y. See, this is two-dimensional. It's in the first quadrant. And this one has an x, which will make red. And then it has a y, which will make blue. And these are supposed to be straight lines. And so if I want to find the red, I'm going to use cosine, because cosine is adjacent divided by hypotenuse, cosine of angle. So if I want to find this adjacent, I'm going to take the hypotenuse, which is 120, and multiply it by cosine of 60. When I do that, I'm going to get 60 newtons, right? And all these are going to be newtons. All right. Now my blue, this one is opposite, and so I want to use sine, which is opposite divided by hypotenuse. So hypotenuse times the sine is going to give me this opposite side. So it's going to be 120 times sine of 60. 120 times sine of 60 gives me 104. All right, y'all be sure you can get that in your calculator. So if you want to be sure you can get it. That'd be a good idea probably. All right. So both these are positive. Both are positive. All right. The next part that I'm going to do is I'm going to find this one over here also has an x value, and it has a y value. So to get my red value, again, it's cosine. This is adjacent, so I'm going to say 80. That's hypotenuse times cosine of 75. 80 times cosine of 75, if you do the math in your calculator, gives you a 21 Newton force in the x direction. And that's going to be a negative force, right? Because it's negative. And my blue is going to be positive. It points up, and it's going to be 80 times sine of 75, because sine goes with the opposite of the y in this case. So 80 times sine of 75 is going to give me 77 newtons positive. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sum these up, meaning in my calculator I'm just going to put 60 minus 21, 60 minus 21, which gives me, whoops, wrong color. Hold on a minute. Let's get this, stay consistent here, which gives me positive 39. And then, blue color, it's 104 plus 77, they're both positive. 104 plus 77 gives me 181. All right? That's my new triangle. That means, what that means, if I redraw this, it means I got a big force this direction. That is 181. So you can tell this is going to be in the first quadrant. In other words, this guy's pulling so much more that the mule is going to be pulled kind of to the right a little bit. And then my red, my X is 39. So it's going to be kind of a little shorty guy here. Not drawn to scale, but this and this shorter. Okay, and so what I want is I want to know the hypotenuse. I want to know what is the net force, all right? So I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem, 181 squared plus, because these are 90 degrees to each other, 181 squared plus 39 squared. Take the square root, and when you do that, you should get 185 newtons. Now I'm going to go ahead and keep it 3 significant figures. This only has 2, but let's just say that it has 3. And then I want to find the angle with the positive x-axis. Well, this is already, the way it's set up, this is already from the positive x-axis. So if I just find this angle, I'm going to do theta equals arctan, and in your calculator, if you look at the tan button, if you do second tan, you get tan to the -1, that's arctan or inverse tan. That's going to be y over x, so 181 over 39, and when I do that, I'm going to get about 77 point something, let's see here, 77.8 degrees, almost 78 degrees. So how do I write my answer? Well, in the end, on the test, I'm going to write 185 newtons at 77.8 degrees, and I'm going to circle it. And that's how you do it. That's how you do it. This one here closer to the 8. There we go. And that's how you do non-perpendicular vectors. You have to divide them in, make your xy table, divide each vector into an x and a y using cosine and sine. After you get both of them, or 3, however many, sum them up, get your resulting x and y, take your resulting x and y and do the Pythagorean theorem on it, get your hypotenuse, which is the magnitude, and then get your angle, which is the direction. And that's how you do non-perpendicular vectors.